Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, so I want to try making something different. I want to make a journal that's kind of shaped like a house, covered in fabric, and I'm also going to use some Amazon mailers, and these are the kind of crunchy brown paper mailer instead of a bubble mailer because that'll be a little thicker than I want. And this is kind of inspired by, I've got a digital kit by My Porch Prints that's, I think is called like Haunted House, and so it's got house shaped pages for the journal. And also, you know, I've been watching the Tim Holtz lives for a while, and a lot of his makers do like fabric, like little mini journal projects, and so I kind of want to do something like that, and I want to do it house shaped. And I had planned on doing a Halloween one, but never got enough time for that, so maybe next year. So this one's going to be Christmas themed, and I'm going to start by tracing my pattern, which to create this pattern, I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut it in half, so it was 5.5 by 8.5, and then I went up about 5 inches on either side, and then went to the middle to create the peak. So essentially I scratched a piece of paper. All right, so what I did is I took a half sheet of paper, I went up, so I went up 5 inches on either side, found the center point, connected those lines, and cut to get my house shape. So if you are using a different size piece of paper, that's how you create the shape. And I am just going to trace it on to my packing material. Cut it out. And I actually think I'm gonna do this single ply. Actually, I'm gonna have a think about that. I haven't decided yet. I need to pull out the fabric and see how it feels with the fabric, because I was thinking I was gonna do it single ply, but that's really rather thin. You know what? No, we're gonna stick with my first instinct and go single ply, because we're gonna add fabric to it and then a whole bunch of fun stuff on the inside, and it does not need to be super thick, because the reason I'm doing this is just to give the fabric some more stability, so that it's not quite as floppy as it would be if it was just the fabric. All right, I am going to cut out a few more. I think probably, I was originally thinking I was gonna do 5, but since I'm cutting 2 out at a time, and probably end up with 6. So I'm gonna cut the rest of these out and then pull out my fabric, and we'll cut the fabric and get to assembling. Okay, so got them all cut out, and I've actually covered most of them already with fabric. And this is the Tim Holtz fabric, and I think it might be some from this year and some from last year, and I left room around. Like, I want a little bit of excess around the edges of the piece because I want to fray them a little bit. So let me show you how I covered these guys up. We'll start with this piece of fabric. Open it up. And I'm gonna place my piece down, leaving a little excess around the sides, and then just cut a piece off. Go a little bit past the point. And I am gonna trim off this edge here. Then I am going to add some Fabri-Tac to my piece. And then I'm gonna trim, leaving space along the edge there. And this is definitely not gonna be perfect, but I'm not exactly going for perfect. And I'm gonna save the scraps because I think I'm gonna do a tab binding for this. And so I'm hoping I'll have enough of the scrap fabric to use to make the tabs. All right, so that's one side. For the next side, we're gonna open our fabric up. Now this one's like, these guys can go. There's some words, so I did actually get the words right side up, but I'm not too worried. I wasn't too worried about this. The music is directional, so I am gonna make sure when I place my piece down that I've got it going in the right direction. I'm gonna line it up there. And I'm gonna trim off the branding strip. Set that aside. Add glue again. Actually, I'm gonna lay it down. Just make sure again that I've got it right side up. Yep, Jingle Bells is right side up. And lay this down. Now, I probably should have ironed this fabric, but I just didn't feel like it. And the nice thing is with the glue, I can spread it out so it kind of smooths out the wrinkles so you don't even notice them. And trim off any excess. All right, now that I've got all of my pieces, and there'll probably be some trimming up and straightening up, and like this edge needs to be straightened a little bit. But the next step's gonna be, once I've let them all dry, is I'm gonna take them to my sewing machine and sew around the houses. Because one, I think it'll add a nice element. Two, when I go to fray the edges, the spot where the stitching is will kind of serve as a stop for the fraying, so it should keep it from completely unraveling kind of thing. So there are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, and I'll eventually figure out what order I want them in. I think I probably want this one as the cover. We'll decide who's going where. But I need to sew them on my sewing machine, and I am not going to demo that because me and my sewing machine have a love-hate relationship and it does not always go well. So I'm gonna go do my stitching and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've done all of my stitching and I went around a couple times and I did messy stitching, and I am gonna fray all of the edges, but not right this second. Because now what we're gonna do is tab binding, and I'll probably do some trimming once I bind it together, because as you can see, this one's got quite a bit sticking out, so I may trim off so it lines up nicely. And I've put them all in the order I want to do them in. So let's start with the first page. And I've cut, for my scraps, I've cut tabs. So I've done this before, done a couple tab bound booklets now, and it's a technique I really like. And part of me is thinking I need to trim these shorter, but my threads are all over the place. So we're just gonna go with it. And for this one, because my pieces are bigger than I usually do, we're going to be able to do a 3 and 2 tab. So what we do is we're going to start by placing one tab there. Then we're going to place another tab towards the bottom there. And then we're going to do one tab in the middle. And I'm going to bring over my tabs for the next page, because what we want to do is make sure we leave enough room for, yep, okay. So this guy's gonna go here. I'm just gonna put the glue on like so. And I may, part of me is like I should stitch them on, and what I may do is hand stitch it, because I don't really feel like stopping and stitching, because I need to stitch this and then the next one, and it'll take forever. So I may go back in and put some hand stitches just for interest and to further secure our tabs. But next, we are going to place our next set of tabs between the two, and I've got them facing upside down, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this page down on our tabs, because it's easier if I place them where they need to be. And so we're just going to add glue to this tab and this tab, and place this page face down on our tabs. Yes. And then what we're gonna do, is wait a sec while the glue sets, make sure it's secure, and then we're gonna wrap the tabs from our first page. So we're gonna put glue on this guy and wrap him over. Glue on this guy and wrap him over, and then glue on the bottom one and wrap him over. So for our next page, we're going to line up our tabs with this guy. 2, 3, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to glue there's a string somewhere on this one that's causing it to fly around. All right, let's try this again. Try and keep our tabs straight. So, and then we're going to wrap our 2 tabs around. And for this one, we're going to mix it up because I don't have enough of the same cutout in tabs. So we're gonna go 1, 2, put a green one in the middle for 3. That one's a little on the short side. These guys are roughly 1 inch by 2 inches, but I wasn't too precious about it. I kind of was just using the scraps. And then for the last page, we don't need to add them because there's not another page to attach. So we just need to lay it down and wrap. Here is our fabric covered, house-shaped journal. And the next step is to decorate and add stuff and play around with it. So that's what we're going to do next. I think some of these longer pieces I'm going to trim up before we move along. Like this one down here is just way too much extra hanging off. The back page needs a little bit of trimming. All right, so I'm gonna figure some stuff out and come back, and we are definitely gonna rough up our edges since that's the whole point of having it fluffy, so, or having the extra fabric on the edges. So definitely gonna do a whole bunch of that just to get it. And here's where I'm gonna regret having glued this one together up here, is that it's not gonna fray as nicely as elsewhere. But yeah, I'm just gonna go around, fray the edges, and have a bit of a think and come back with some stuff to decorate. And I have an idea for what I want to do on the front, and so I'll be back. Okay, so I've pulled some stuff out, and I need to figure out what the heck I was thinking, because I know I had a plan and it's been a week or so since I started working on this. And so now I've got to have a bit of a think about what went where. Now, I did pull, what I want to do for this one is make it into a tag that will pull out from behind our, now this is all Tim Holtz Ephemera e-bits, and these are the doors and windows pack, I don't know, from one of the years. And I figured, I think I was going to do that. And then this was going to go somewhere on the front, I think. But now I don't remember where. And we're going to do Santa so that he's showing through, like so. And I'm going to put a piece of acetate on there. All right, we're going to set those aside because right now they're not speaking to me. So this is what is going to be the cover, but we're not going to work on this one just yet because I put stuff in on the pages where they're going to go. And this one back here is a little on the precarious side. Like I moved stuff and I was like, oh, wait. As I moved it, I was like, things are falling out. Oh no, where do they go? So I'm just taking some of the fabric scraps and creating a little cluster just to decorate this page. I think that was what I was thinking. All right, so we're just gonna glue these bits down. We can always come back and add more decoration later, but I'm gonna start by doing that. And then this, but let's get the spatula because we don't want big thick lines of the glue that might show through the fabric. So I'm just gonna spread out the Fabri-Tac, and that's what I'm using, Fabri-Tac. You can use whatever glue you like. Let's actually scoot that over a little bit more so that's a little more centered on the black strip. Because right now I haven't decided. I may trim the black strip down a little bit. I think it might look better if it was more like that. Actually, yeah, I think I like that better. So let's grab the scissors and we'll trim that bit off and save that scrap for something else. All right, so we got that base piece kind of together. Next up, we've got this piece and this piece, mostly because this piece wasn't wide enough for, this is like the branding strip on the fabrics, but since it's the name of the collection and I'm like, holidays past, I'm like, oh, that works perfect. I figured I'd keep it. All right, so let's trim this piece down to the same length. I think I was probably gonna put the star there. All right, so let's glue this piece down. So the spatula just helps smooth the glue out so we don't have like a thick line that shows through. So that's why I'm doing that. Before we put this on, I want to fray the top a bit. What I'm doing is I'm just sticking my little pokey tool in and pulling up some of the threads that go this way. All right, now let's glue it down. And I'm gonna be sure to get glue along the edge of where I frayed, which will keep that from fraying further. A little star. All right, so that page is done. At least until I decide I want to add some more decorations to it or something. So, oh wait, no it's not because I haven't glued this on. Oh. All right, let's put more glue down here. If that won't show, I'm not too worried about it. And glue the whole thing down. All right. Now, for this page, what I want to do is cut this down. Let me grab my paper trimmer. Woo! Oh, no, I just dumped a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. Okay, so I gotta be very careful with moving this thing around since it's got loose bits everywhere. Okay, let's start with this. What I want to do is so what we're going to do is just trim this down and then even it up because my plan is, actually, I know what I'm gonna do. Instead of that, we are going to grab our scissors and trim these out completely. Hopefully the bingo card parts are all the same size. Yes. And what we're gonna do is, all right, so we're gonna attach two together like so. And I need to grab some washi tape. Let me do that. I will be right back. Okay, so we are gonna use this washi, which I think is a Tim Holtz washi. And we're gonna cut it narrower because I don't need it quite that wide for what we're doing. But here, let's get smaller scissors. Cut that here. Cut it in half. This feels very not sticky. So what I'm gonna do is run a line of my art glitter glue down each side. Put my washi tape on. Push it up a little bit. And fold it over, and I'm gonna reinforce it by doing it again on this side. Put the other half on this side. Okay, we're gonna go down, down, like so. So that it will fold over like that. Crease that down, and we're going to do the same thing to attach this guy like this. So let's open up. All right, it's going to go like this. So like so. That is going to go on here. And so that it pulls out like so. I think I had meant it to go the other way, which we can rectify by just flipping how we fold. So that, yeah, it pulls out that way. So what I want to do is ink around my edges. I'm going to grab some peeled paint because it kind of matches the green on the bingo cards, and ink all of the edges up. All right, I think I got everybody. And what I want to do on these two sides is glue on some coffee dyed paper. Okay, so let's trim that down. This is some coffee dyed, like I've got a notepad with a map on it and coffee dyed a bunch of papers, but we're just going to use the back for this one. I am going to round the corners. All right, let's glue these down. That's going to go like that. I think I'm going to go ahead. No, actually, I wanted to do a couple rub-ons on the coffee dyed paper, just to add a little bit more interest. A little something in each corner kind of thing. Let's go actually like there. And let's go ahead and just use this present for the other one. We got that one. And then for this one, I'll put the little present in the corner. Do it faster with my bone folder. Now they come with little sticks, but I don't know where any of the popsicle sticks that came with this are right now. They're somewhere around here. All right, and now we're just gonna glue this onto our page like so. And I'm just gonna use my fabric tack and I'm gonna glue it on so that it can serve as a pocket. So I'm gonna glue down this side and along the bottom and up this side. Oop, sliding around. So it pulls out like that. And we've got a pocket back there. All right. Okay, I want to go ahead and do these pages because they're fairly quick and simple, and then I don't have to worry about losing the pieces. Because this one, I am just going to add this on as a pocket. And this is from Tim Holtz Ephemera pack. So let's go ahead and glue this on. And I may do some more decorating after I get everything else done. But figured this was a good spot to use one of the many pieces from the many packs of ephemera I have bought from Tim Holtz over the years. I'm just flipping it over so I can get it flatter to press down to make sure it's glued on. And then we're gonna add our little bells. Those seems to be. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue them together because it's jingle bells. Attach this and then glue it on so it can be a tuck spot. So let's just use our regular art glitter glue. Whew, had a brain freeze there. Do that so we've got our jingle bells. Glue this on at the top. Like so. I'm gonna flip this over because I felt some glue seepage. So just to make sure when we glue it on, we don't have an issue with it accidentally gluing our tuck spot closed. All right. I think I got glue on my hand that is then transferring to these pieces. And then we'll stick that on there and that can be a tuck spot. So let's just glue. I'm gonna add some to the leaves just so that they aren't sticking up because that could they could get damaged. And then the top of our bells. And let's go like that. Press it down. And then that will act as a tuck spot, so we can stick something up under there. All right, so those 2 pages are done-ish. This page, I'm gonna do this frame as a pocket, and I'm thinking maybe of using some coffee dyed glassine to back it. Meh, I'm not loving that. All right, I need to get some vellum out for that, so we're gonna hold off on that for a bit. On this side, I decided I just wanted to do a little decorative cluster. And this is one of those, the Tim Holtz vintage tag die, which I inked the die up and then ran it through, and it got a little messy. So I figured we'll just cover it up. Then I was going to stick him on as well. But now that I'm looking at that, I'm thinking he needs something behind him too. Yes, this is going to get inked, and I'm trying to decide if I want to shorten that candy cane or not. Okay, let's move these bits out of the way. We're gonna move that out of the way, that out of the way. Let's move this whole thing out of the way. Grab a scrap piece of paper, our brush, some antique linen, and ink this up. And I'm also thinking what I may want to do is I'm grabbing the stamps from Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous, and it's Music and Advert CMS 358. And I'm gonna grab the same ink I used for that. First find Claire Rainforest. What I'm gonna do is ink it up, stamp it off, and stamp it on like that. And that disguises the mess a little bit better. And then when we layer everything on, and actually what I'm gonna do is, while that's still a little wet, I'm gonna grab a brush, kind of smudge it a little. All right, there we go. Let's move that out of the way. Bring this back over to his page. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna have the candy cane go there. The boy and his dog go there. I feel like that needs something. All right, so I just guesstimated about how long I wanted it to be, but I want it thicker, so I did it 3-ply. And I'm gonna use my Easy Beater, which is like a big needle threader, because it makes doing this so much easier. Then you pull it through like that, and I can stick all these little guys through at once, like so. All right, so let's come back over. I'm gonna put the candy cane there. So let's trim off the bottom of the candy cane since it's not gonna show. Let's do it right there. And let's glue it down because I know that's where it's going. Boy and his dog are going on. This label is going like so. So let's glue that one on because I do want it to cover up that bottom edge of the candy cane. So it's going like that. And this I created with a bunch of stamps by Crafty by Tony. I want them there, but he needs something for his back end to be sitting on. This is also a stamp by Crafty by Tony. Let's see how that works. If I stick them, can I rip that up a little bit more? Okay, so if I stick them so that their feet are kind of like that, I can stick the little peppermint thing there, so he is in fact on something. Yep, I like that. Let's do that, and let's ink these edges. I probably should have inked the edges of that. Let's just grab, let's not. Let's ink those edges that I can get to. Use this to ink the edges on this guy. Maybe do a little scrunching and ink with some brown on the scrunchies. All right, so that's gonna go in like there. Yeah, because I want it behind his foot. All right, let's put some glue on that. Add a little more glue here where I lifted it up. Boy and his dog go there. Just trying to make sure his antlers are glued on good because they're really, really delicate. And this is a laser cut element by 49 a Market. All right. Because I'm thinking of attaching this so that the tag part, because that's on some cardstock, can serve as a tuck spot. But we'll glue this bit all the way down, so that's why I want to make sure his antlers are fully glued on. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab my tweezers for this because yeah, look at how delicate those little guys are. They need to be glued down well. So what we're gonna do is, and I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac, is we're gonna glue this label and down here and all that stuff all the way down. That can then be a tuck spot like so. We're going to stop for today because this video is getting rather long, and we'll come back next Friday and finish decorating this piece up. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.